and summer is on its way, Nathan.
You're not going to get a shrimp on the barbie for the next 2 weeks, at least.
No.
Really, at least in the east of the country. The west is getting it better, but in the east, we're pretty stuck with it. It's the first day of summer today. Happy first day of summer. Feels more like autumn, but we're stuck in this sort of pretty cool, pretty grim weather, at least in the east of the country, for the next 2 weeks, according to the Met Office. But it might be on the way after that.
Well, I'm confused, because I thought it was meant to be 21, 22, 23 this week.
Possibly will be. The west of the country, we've got a bit of an east-west split. So the west of the country is going to get the best of the weather. So if you take the Midlands and cut them down the middle and go westwards, Wales, Cumbria, that sort of area, even Scotland, they've had some pretty good temperatures this week. In fact, Wales had 25 this week. The east, though, completely different. I mean, I've got my winter coat on still coming.
Have you?
Can I go back to something you just said? You said in 2 weeks it might change. We need just a little bit more. We need a bit more assertion.
Right. There is something very interesting going on with the weather, meteorologically, during the month of June. Again, according to the Met Office, have to attribute this to the Met Office. Their long-range forecast, we were talking about a couple of weeks ago about how there was a 35% chance of a hotter-than-average summer. It's gone up to 45% now, double the normal chance of getting the hotter-than-average summer. That's right the way through to August. Now, hotter-than-average doesn't actually mean there's going to be heat waves and, really hot. Hotter-than-average just really means we could pull in some hotter temperatures than our average, only around 20. But there is a typhoon hitting Guam and is heading on the way to Okinawa, the southern islands of Japan, that the Met Office think might interact with the jet stream as it comes around the globe towards us. The jet stream is at the moment weak, so keeping this blocked colder pattern, and that might jolt the jet stream around the middle of June and bring a change to the weather. Now, the Met Office also said that could go two ways. It could either be a nice warm spell if it draws up warmer air from the south, or it might be cooler. But other than that, we're stuck in this.
I mean, last summer we saw the 40-degree heat wave, didn't we? I mean, that was extreme heat in this country.
Yes.
Do you think that could be on the cards for this summer, or was that one-off?
Well, it's happened once, so it can happen again. Now, the argument is that the summers are getting warmer because of global warming, because of various things happened. We've had 40 degrees once. There's no reason why we shouldn't have it again. There are some people saying that we could get a hot summer. The Met Office has said heat waves are not guaranteed, but they are more likely than not. Now, a heat wave 10 years ago used to be, 30 degrees. It is now 35, heading up to 40. Could it happen again? It could. Is it likely? I don't think it's likely, but it might.
And what dangers does high temperatures bring? I mean, what could people look out for, or what should they do? Yeah,
so always when the hot weather comes, we're never prepared for it. Usually it's the same with the cold weather. Animals in cars, people in cars can turn into ovens. So that's my why one is, please do not animals in cars. Elderly, vulnerable, people with health conditions. When the temperatures rise above 30, 35 degrees, that's when people really suffer. So just bear it in mind, when on the very, very hot days, like we had last year, that 40 degrees C, don't go out running. Health experts recommend things like closing the curtains, looking out for elderly, vulnerable people, that they're not struggling, dehydration, exercising outdoors, that sort of thing. Just be sensible. And my biggie is open water. Never, ever, we see it every single year, people jumping into reservoirs and lakes and things. There's always tragic headlines afterwards. So open bodies of waters are always a bad idea in the summer as they are in the winter.
Yeah, Nathan, really, really important that you stress that. It's a really important message. I mean, we just had that headline, didn't we, about the two people that died in Bournemouth. It's absolutely tragic. So thank you for mentioning that. Really good to see you this morning.
Shame
it's not happier news, though. I want it to be boiling hot.
I mean, not yet, but hang in there. We might.
All right.
We should.
He said might again. He said might.
Might. We don't like that word. We want to soak up the sun.